It is me, Pearl, from Pearl and the Prayers, and this is Tuned in Pearl. You will remember we used to be called Tuned in Tarot, but recently I decided to pivot my channel and include more of my interests instead of just tarot. We are still going to have tarot readings here because I really still enjoy doing them, and I do think they bring a lot of insight and they give me an opportunity to weave in the esoteric knowledge that I've always been interested in since I was a wee one. But going forward, I am very excited starting in September, right in time for the back to school energy. We are going to start going back to school here on Tuned in Tarot. I am going to bring you content that's specifically about sacred texts, esoteric texts that people on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram create videos and reels about without checking their facts. But here we are going to do fact checking. We are going to make sure that we have cited sources and that you yourself can go and explore these topics if you have a deep interest in them and you want to know more. So stay tuned in because that is coming up in September. We're going to be starting it right on September 3rd, I think is the day that I decided, or September 3rd. So it'll be starting on Monday, which is like right around the corner. I'm very excited about this, and some of you already participate in the Sacred Text discussion group on Wednesday nights, but shh, it's a secret society. If you want to know more, get in touch with me, tunedintarot@gmail.com. Hop over to passes.com/pearlsprayers. That's where you will see everything extended readings, extended content, and I will not be doing lives on TikTok anymore, or at least for a little while. I have really just grown tired of the having to verify my existence every so often. So if I do go live from now on, it will be either here on YouTube or over at Passes. The Secret Society is a Zoom call. That's Wednesday nights, and you can always find the link by going to tunedintarot.com and scrolling down to where you see the Egyptian image. Click on that, and that will take you to the next meeting. I think it's currently still linked to the meeting that happened on Wednesday, so I will be updating that before the next meeting next week. And I hope to see you there. You do not have to be an academic. You do not have to have any kind of degrees, although I do have one in art history, and I have studied esoteric texts and religious studies for quite a few years outside of my bachelor's degree. But that is not required for you. All you have to be is curious, interested, and willing to listen and talk about certain things that you discover on your own, because part of the ideals of the society is that we all sort of dig into this research together and share it together. So I'm very excited to bring you all of that. Stay tuned as it unfolds. Today we are doing the Friday love reading. We're going to look at what the masculine energy and the feminine energy are thinking, feeling, saying, doing, how to create potential harmony between them, and what the happiness potential is as of this moment. We also look at the overall and underlying energy. We have some oracles to follow up, and let's get started. So, first of all, let's take a look at the overall energy of Divine Masculine this week. We have the Two of Wands. So this is someone who is really fixated or focused on the relationship that they have asked for. So they have put in a request. They are wanting to cross paths with their soulmate, somebody that is like a love. It could be a long lost love or a new love, but they just really do want to finally make a connection with someone. And so that's what's overall on the mind this week. It can also be about wanting to cross paths with someone that you are already aware of, or it can be that you really do want to seek some kind of a new connection. Now, I'm going to use this card to introduce the song that played during the shuffle. I do keep track of the songs that play because this was called Tuned in Tarot in the past, because I used to basically shuffle music and use the music to help me interpret the cards. And I don't think I've actually posted a link to that playlist, so I will try to remember to do that today. Post link. I'm going to write it down. So I don't forget it. Play list Okay, I'll remember that. Alrighty, so let's look at the song. So the song that came up for the masculine energy is They Are Night Zombies, They Are Neighbors by Sufjan Stevens from the Come On and Feel the Illinois record that he created. It's a great record. And the lyrics are really interesting. The first part of the lyrics is ring the bell and call or write us. And that is really giving me vibes of like what probably both you and your person want to happen in this connection, or what you would want in a connection with your person. Reach out and communicate. Then we have, do you know the ghost community stuck out to me because there is like ghosting vibes going with the energy of this post. Do you know the ghost community? Commemorate it for you. Sound the horn, address the city. We are awakened with the axe. Night of the living dead at last. They have begun to shake the dirt, wiping their shoulders from the earth. I know the nations past. I know they rust at last. They tremble with the nervous thought of having been at last forgot. The other part that stuck out to me in the song is waking the earth, speaking their names, they shake the flag. Waking the earth, it lifts and lags. We see 1,000 rooms to rest, helping us taste the bite of death. I know my time is past. I'm not so young, I'm not so fast. I tremble with the nervous thought of having been at last forgot. So that, for me, what this song was representing today was this fear that we have, these thoughts that we have, that someone has forgotten us because a connection has died, or we've been forgotten, or that we are like, growing old along our timeline, and that we don't have this connection that we've asked for. The Two of Wands is a restless energy. It's a Mars and Aries energy. So this is somebody that is very, very restless and trying to figure out what to do, planning and strategizing and all of the things. But the problem with that is that there is nothing that you need do. The Two of Wands is about recognizing and accepting that what you must do is allow the future to unfold, that you have asked for something, and that what you've asked for will be granted as you just get into the alignment with that thing. And the alignment with that thing requires neutrality on your part. You must become neutral. You must not have an emotional reaction about not having the thing in order to be able to actually receive it. And so this card waits for you to release your restlessness so that you can step into the energy of the Three of Wands, where you remain neutral, and that's where you can start to see your manifestations come in until you get to the Four of Wands, which is where now you have a stable, healthy foundation to celebrate whatever it is that you created through the initial desire of the Ace of Wands. If you're a reader, that progression in the Wands cards is all about the creation of ideas. When ideas spring to mind, and when you try to figure out, how am I going to implement this, and then you accept, like, oh no, I just have to allow this to come to me, and then I can start to see the way that it will come to me and be inspired towards the right action, and then the actions that I take will result in something to celebrate, until a new desire in the Five of Wands destabilizes what I've already built, and then I will have to overcome that struggle and move on, and so on and so forth. You might notice that my blue bottle, it's not been retired. I just really wanted ice today, so my sister left this cup behind, and it reminded me of her, so I'm using it. If any of you know Katie, this is the most Katie of cups. So I am still drinking my water, but no longer in the blue bottle. Now I have some ice in my cup. All right, so that's where the masculine energy is, the energy of the mind, the intellect. This week, your person is likely, if they're leaning strongly into that energy, those are the things that they're thinking about. For the feminine energy, what are we feeling in the energy of this week? We have the Knight of Pentacles. The feelings associated with this card are slow to no movement, imperceptible change. There is motion, but we cannot even see it. This would be like, planting a seed and then just being like, okay, and watching it. And if you just did that, if you watched it all day, I fear that you may go to bed feeling disappointed because you wouldn't see anything happening. But you would know intuitively that beneath the soil, slowly but surely, and honestly faster than you can even really realize, there is this root taking hold, and with the right nurturing, growing, and you will soon start to see it surface. But then the growth of it will still take a very long time. When I go for a walk down the street, I'm in my hometown, and there are trees at the end of the street that were planted when I was in high school. And I remember they just looked so puny and silly when they were first planted. I was just like, oh, look at those sad little trees. And now when I walk by them, they're like really quite large, but it's been over 20 years. So they've really, really grown. And there was motion, there was movement, but it was imperceptible to me until I came back and reflected upon the past. And so that's really what this week is about. It is about the relationship that you have asked for and the slow moving growth towards that relationship coming to pass. No, the trees, actually, I forgot that this actually has these trees crossing, which is also giving a sense of paths finally crossing after much slow and steady movement. Now, the other feelings that can be associated with the Knight of Pentacles are a sensation of breadcrumbing. We do see a masculine energy who's walking away from us in this perspective and leaving behind these pentacles. He's not even on the horse. Like, he's at this point gotten off the horse and he's just like walking in another direction. Immediately I'm thinking he's going to take a little bathroom break or something. Like he needs to take a rest on the journey. And it's not that he hasn't been moving. He's been moving all along, and he's been dropping hints of that movement all along. But it seems like he's not going in the right direction. But it's partially because, again, like we said with the seed planted in the soil, you can't see the growth that's taking place. You can feel the growth that's happening, but you can't see it. And that might be frustrating for you because you might want your reality to correspond to your manifestation right now. But that's probably because you're still really emotionally attached to that outcome. And we'll talk more about how to detach from that outcome as we go through the reading. So that's what's on the surface of this week. That's what's overall in the energy. But what's underlying the energy is really quite beautiful. For the masculine, we have this 10 of Cups. This is the ultimate desire that we have coming up through that 2 of Wands. What did that masculine energy ask for? What did your mind ask for? Your mind asked for a romantic connection. Your mind asked for a soulmate, somebody that you could be in partnership with that would feel very fulfilling to you. Somebody that you could grow a family with. That's what overall is on your mind. What you can't see, what's imperceptible, again, like the growth that's taking place here, is that you do have right now this week this 10 of Cups energy within reach. This isn't a card that means this is far away. This is something that is underlying your request. So I'm getting a sense that you're probably a person who already has taken steps, especially with this Knight of Pentacles energy. You've already taken steps to feel fulfilled in some way, to feel connected to others, to have good relationships with friends and family. Those are things you've already been working on. And so you have a lot of what it is that you were seeking, 111 on the clock, when you were first asking for that relationship or that connection in the 2 of Wands. You've actually achieved quite a lot of that. You might not have even noticed it. Maybe this reading today is confirming for you that you actually have done a lot of the work and it has started to pay off, and you're sort of surprised. Now you're looking at the trees and you're like, oh wow, the trees have really grown and I didn't even realize it. The other thing to keep in mind is that this is underlying all of your person's thoughts and decisions as well as your thoughts and decisions. But the person that you are focused on, that you've asked for, what is underlying their choices is this wanting to have this fulfillment, wanting to have positive family connections. So if you're in a situation where you have a person who has another family, this can mean that what is, underlying all their thoughts and choices are the desires they have to ensure that their family is strong, that their family is cared for and protected. I mean, that's usually the kind of person that you would be attracted to. So I wouldn't begrudge someone wanting to make sure that their family connections were strong, even if it was a past family connection. But this can also indicate too that it's very important to them, it's underlying all their thoughts and decisions, that you be able to come together and experience this joy and fulfillment as well. Now that's what the thoughts are about. What are the feelings about this week? We have the Two of Cups. So the Two of Wands and the Two of Cups together suggests that there are choices and decisions being made, in particular, that will increase your chance of crossing paths. Notice that we had these trees here that we're crossing, and then we again repeat that same sort of imagery, only this time it's your hands. Interlocking, entanglement is coming to mind. Both the mess of entanglement, but also the physics concept that no matter where you are in the world, and this can also be a card that talks about traveling, no matter where you are both feeling one another. One, if you affect a particle in Los Angeles, that same the particle, another particle will be affected in New York. It doesn't matter the distance, because the distance is all an illusion anyway, which is just a weird thing about being alive. So what you desire, your heart feels, is coalescing, and it is there. It's in this reading. It's underlying everything, and it is there for you right now. So it's a slow and steady, almost imperceptible progress that is being made towards this connection, towards this happiness and fulfillment with your person. And that's the overall energy of this week. Now let's look at what this person is thinking and feeling, what you are thinking and feeling. And also keeping in mind that when I'm talking about masculine energy, I'm talking about the energy of the mind. And when I'm talking about feminine energy, it's the energy of the heart. And your person and you are going to have a mixture of these thoughts and feelings about one another. So try not to base it on gender. It really isn't about gender. You could almost use the words from Hinduism, Shiva to represent masculine energy, and Shakti to represent feminine energy. And Shiva would be like the material, and Shakti would be the ethereal. Okay, so what is without and what is within. So what is divine masculine energy thinking about the divine feminine this week? We have the Ace of Wands. So we talked about the Ace of Wands. I didn't even know it was here, but this is the original desire we have that brings us in, that takes us basically on our journey into the Two of Wands. So he's thinking about what he wanted. He's thinking about what he wants. And this imagery is recalling the Four of Wands that's in, or it's actually a premonition because we haven't gotten to it yet technically, but the Four of Wands in this deck has the same imagery. Instead of it being a single desire though, it's four wands, and there is this like maypole effect that happens in that card as well. So immediately I know that this person desires to have strong and stable, healthy foundations in connection. We're also seeing all the greenery here. We talked about trees and we talked about growth. And of course, nature's abundance resides also in that energy. So this person knows that what they desire has the power, which the Ace of Wands, it's a wand, right, of power, has the power to bring them a lot of joy and fulfillment. That is clear by the card that's underlying this whole week. So they're thinking in a positive way about feminine energy. But then we have this card, which is the Queen of Swords. this is a card that is kind of looking scary, right? It's dark here. There are these rough waters portrayed behind this queen. She's holding a sword at her side, but she has a heart on her crown. So we know that her thoughts are heart-centered, even if they might be harsh even if she might be harsh in some way. This would be like a tough love kind of an energy. Somebody who might give it to you in a way that kind of stings, knowing that might be the only way to get your attention or the only way to get you to listen or respect a boundary. So this masculine energy is thinking, I want the divine feminine to be heart-centered in the way she thinks about me. I desire for her to be honest with me and direct with me, and I desire to communicate honestly and directly with her too, but I'm afraid that I have pushed her into her dark side. I'm afraid that she's actually going to want to, off with my head type of an energy. Alternatively, this can just be a general way that he feels about all feminine energy and not specifically about another person. There may be this sense that those people who lean into their feminine energy can be harsh, can be cutting, and that's coming from like the type of nurturing he received from maternal energy in the past or a past partner. It could also be when he thinks about the feminine energy, there is a darker energy that gets in the way of his thoughts. So someone else who embodies this energy of being harsh, being critical, being overly defensive, kind of stands in the way of what he really desires to think about when he thinks about you. Okay? Or however you want to look at that, or how you think about your person. So what is the divine feminine energy thinking right now? She is thinking that her masculine energy that she is focused on is trying to avoid his feelings, is running away from his feelings, is sidestepping, is perhaps being deceitful, being dishonest, not telling the truth, that he has a reason to hide. If he's not talking, then there's probably a reason for that, is the energy that I'm feeling from the feminine. He's doing something behind the scenes, and he doesn't have good intentions in this energy. Also, he's planned and he's strategized, and none of it has come to pass. And there is a lot of fear coming up for the feminine energy. Now that really, really aligns well with the masculine thinking of the feminine here in the Queen of Swords, because somebody who is not, who has uncertainty about motives or the movements of somebody is definitely going to take on a more defensive energy. They're going to also be paying attention to the movements of the masculine, and maybe being harsh with him, maybe like, I don't know what the fuck you're doing, but it doesn't look good. And if it was good, you wouldn't have to hide it. So that's what the feminine thinks of the masculine energy right now. How does the masculine energy feel about feminine energy? We've got the Six of Cups here. So when he thinks of the feminine energy, he thinks of her in this nostalgic way. The Six of Cups can be about bliss too, in the way that the Ten of Cups is about bliss. And it can be about fantasy, but it's a fantasy that you had in the past, like a childish fantasy. It is an escapism. You want to like escape into the innocence of your youth. I am seeing there might be some reason for this masculine energy to feel that the feminine is being narcissistic, is, gazing at herself in the water, and kind of something about how when she is being emotional here, because we have her hands dipping into this water, that it's kind of serving her own motives, not really serving him. And so I think if that is coming up, that's definitely because of a maternal energy that was probably narcissistic that this person had in their lives. And they interpreted the selfishness of that person as something that was detrimental to them, rather than seeing somebody who had a healthy balance of self-focus and self-care while still being able to give to their their family or whatever the case is, or their partner if this is a past partner. They were really not interested in trying to give to this person. They were more interested in kind of getting their own needs met. And they may have even been emotionally manipulative. So the masculine energy feels conflicted there. He feels like he wants to reunite with feminine energy, but he's carrying some dark thoughts and feelings about that energy, which makes it difficult to actually move into a connection with you. Divine Feminine is feeling about oh my Lanta. I did not just pull another Six of Cups. This time, what am I pulling on the Six of Cups? But a masculine energy who starts out as a little boy and progresses into this man, and there is this loyalty there, okay? So interesting. You feel the same. Masculine and feminine feel the same. Now the overall thing is you would like to reunite, period. Both of you feel that you would like to reunite with one another, that you would like to come back together. You also both feel that the other has been a part of your life for many lifetimes. There's a past life connection between the two of you, which I neglected to talk about in the Six of Cups here for the masculine energy, which tells me that it's probably more of a feeling that your person would have rather than thoughts they would have, but you both feel this past life energy between you. Divine Feminine feels that the masculine energy may appear to be grown, but is still immature. And that looks can be deceiving. That when she looks at this person, and she did feel this kind of an energy of, I think this person is avoiding their feelings. I think they're doing underhanded things. I think they're being deceitful. She has a feeling that this person is not doing that maliciously, that this person is doing that because of the childhood wounds that I literally just described from this card here. So in other words, the feminine energy is in tune with the masculine energy and understands that the wounds he's carrying about feminine energy in general are not about her. They are about the experiences that he's had with others in his life. And he has projected those experiences or the potential for a recurrence of those experiences onto the connection with her. This is your mind knowing what's happened in the past. So when your heart starts to feel emotion, love come up, bubble up to the surface for someone, immediately you tamp it down because you overthink it and you are concerned that this feeling is going to dredge up emotions from your childhood again, trauma experiences from your childhood, and you don't want to have those experiences. Okay. What is the divine masculine energy actually saying to the feminine energy right now? Stay away. I'm hearing the Nirvana song, Stay Away, right now. And there is a defensiveness in this energy. But interestingly enough, it's not masculine that's on the side of saying stay away. It's the feminine that is staying away. So my feeling is you have probably set up some boundaries that are like, you have to speak to me directly. We need to have these conversations either on the phone, over FaceTime, or in person. I expect that you will remember basic things about me, like, my birthday, what I do, what I like, that you will respect and show me that you desire me as a whole person and not just as a, an object or some kind of maternal energy that replaces one that wasn't so hot in your life. So I'm getting a sense feminine energy has done that. She has said these things. And the masculine is perceiving these boundaries as an obstacle. And the only reason that the mind would see these things as an obstacle is because there is a fear that you are not going to be able to follow through with those boundaries that you've set. Like, you personally aren't going to be able to, like, for instance, if you're like, I need this person to communicate directly, and then they communicate indirectly, and you immediately cave and communicate indirectly back to them, right? So you have a fear that you won't be successful in maintaining this desire that you have. If it's the person that we're talking about that would have this kind of, like, this is what they're saying. They're basically saying that they fear that they can't respect your boundaries, that you might say, I need you to speak directly to me, and they're saying, I can't do that. I don't know how. I don't have a way. It's not possible for me. I don't know how to express my emotions or my ideas or whatever. But what they're saying right now is that they see you standing your ground, and they understand that you will accept nothing less from them right now. Divine Feminine, what are you saying to this masculine energy? Yeah, I'm good with you. I'm good without you, babe. Like, honestly, 9 of Pentacles energy here. I'm good with you. I'm good without you. If we're meant to be together, I'm sure things will come back around. If they don't, we're good. I'm taking care of myself. I'm taking care of my environment. I'm tending to and nurturing myself and receiving rewards for it and allowing myself to receive those rewards. I'm single. I'm independent. I'm fabulous. I am attached to you. And I say that in my actions. Like, you might have set boundaries with somebody and you might want to be moving on and open up to new connections, but you still watch their stories. But if you do that, you don't do that in an underhanded way. You're at a point where you're like, yeah, I'm here. I'm still attached to you. But I can't force you to do anything, and I'm not going to try. I'm going to keep it pushing, and I'm going to keep my options open because I don't see any sense in waiting for something, because I know that what is meant for me cannot be taken from me. What is meant to be cannot be taken from me. So what is Divine Masculine actually doing? What is he actually doing towards the feminine energy? Okay. So he's continuing to let the feminine lead communication here, which is a mixed bag. On the one hand, this means that he is wanting to let his emotions express his emotions through communication. On the other hand, it can mean that he leans on the energy of the person who is better at doing that. So because this isn't masculine, feminine as gender, and it truly is energy, the person who is better at expressing their emotions is the person who leads the way here. And he actually feels rushed by that person into expressing their emotions. Now, before you start to feel bad about like, oh, I don't mean to pressure my person, that is not something that you should feel any type of guilt for. If you have the ability and the capacity to express your emotions, and you have set a boundary that you would like a partner who is able to do that, and you have said to this partner, hey, it's cool that you like me, it's cool that you want to take this somewhere, but we have to have some conversations and emotionally bond in order to go to that place. And that person feels rushed into something, that person is not the right person for you. You're not doing anything wrong. You are literally doing what any normal human being who has healed themselves in regards to how they express and feel emotions would do. Perfectly acceptable for you to do that. So do not feel badly for that, okay? That's very important, that you do not feel badly for rushing someone to talk. Simply saying hello to them and saying that you would like to talk to them is not rushing them, especially if there's been a lot of time that has passed between the two of you. So this person may be feeling rushed, but that's their own business, okay? That's their own business. That has nothing to do with, you shouldn't change how you're moving. You shouldn't change how your expectations or lower your expectations or make yourself smaller so that someone else can be more comfortable. That's actually the lesson you should be learning from this connection. You do not have to make yourself smaller to be able to be more comfortable for someone else. It is their job to make themselves feel secure. You should feel secure in who you are and the pace that you're ready to go at. And you should not let the other person's pace make you feel less than or make you feel like you're in the wrong. Okay, so I'm giving you permission to go the speed that you want to go, but I'm also suggesting that you might want to look at a different person, because the person that you have chosen potentially, if they are if they're feeling very, very rushed, is not on the same page as you. And if you want something sooner rather than later, you would need to open up to an energy that's ready to go. And that's all. No harm and no foul. You can love your person that you initially focused on unconditionally and still live a fulfilling life and have what you actually desire in this moment. It's definitely possible for you. So keep that in mind. Now, Divine Feminine, what are you actually doing towards the masculine energy right now? You've given up. You're giving it a rest. You're no longer pressuring anybody. You're not talking to anybody. You have walked away. You've recognized that this person is not able to keep up with you, and you've accepted that, and you've laid down the sword, and you've turned your back, and you've started walking towards an energy that does, towards somebody that's actually fulfilling to you, and you actually feel liberated in this energy. Now, this may be distressing the masculine energy, that you have just been like, look, buddy, I'm not moving too fast. Not for me. Maybe too fast for you, but not for me. And if it's too fast for you, then that shows me that we're not in alignment, and that's okay. And again, no harm, no foul. I'm going on my way. I'm not going to let these constant dark thoughts you're having stop me from living, because that's what I've been doing for a long time, and I can't do that anymore. So I'm keeping it pushing. I love you, but I'm keeping it pushing. Okay. Now, the next two cards the next two positions we're going to look at, we are going to look at the what you need to do to create harmony between what you're thinking, feeling, and saying and doing. This is the key to unlocking this cycle. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to look at the actual happiness potential, and then we're going to do all the healing oracles. If you would like to see this part of the reading, please go over to passes.com, follow me, and subscribe to be a member so that you can get this these last messages and receive the healing that is imbued in these cards. I hope to see you over there, and if not, I will see you again probably on Sunday for the general week ahead reading. Thank you so much, and have the best day.